Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. I'm just going to do kind of an impromptu, fun little exploration today. I've also got some music on for the first time. I just want to try what this is like. I like how Saint Wolf does it. I like the vibe. So yeah, just let me know if you like the music or if it's too loud or whatever. So basically, I'm going to be looking at HotX. So the Atropa hex, Maria's hex with HEX and EHEX. Look at the relationship there and how Maria could help basically peg it. So I did an episode yesterday. I'm going to continue to explore it today. And the relationship of HotX to EHEX and HEX. I'm going to have a look at how that's affecting the charts across the different charts. And I'm going to have a look at the liquidity pairs and ratios as well. Also, apparently I made a mistake with the 1 to 700 statement in yesterday's video. So I'm going to rectify that, starting with Maria's communication from his YouTube channel. So I'll clarify that. And also, one of the hexes did a 5x in 1 hour. Do you know which hex it was? You have to see this. This sort of shit only happens on crypto. So have a look at this. Here we go. So this is on Solana, the king of degenerate chains. So Hex on Hex to Sol. Find Richard Schuller. So this was launched. It would have been launched like 2 days ago. So when the news came out, this would have got launched. So yeah, the degens made a little token, and it's done a 6x. It's done a 6x. So if you're on Solana, look at this beautiful classic Solana chart. A pump and dump. It goes up, then you get a dump. So classic Solana chart. 15K lock liquidity. Oh my God, lock liquidity. That's so special and amazing. That's going to make me put my money into it. But obviously it's total trash garbage. So yeah, everything on Solana is total trash garbage. But I thought this was just hilarious. One of my friends shared this with me today, and I was like, oh my God, crypto is so good. And then I saw this other one when I was looking for Ethereum hex. HEX is dead. So this was made 9 months ago. So this one's on Pulse Chain. Have a look at this for the banner. Brilliant. Loved it. Gave me a good bit of lols. So what's going on, Jesu? And stressful struggle. Stressful struggle. Don't stress, brother. It's Christmas time. All right. So basically, I follow Atropa _PLS to get all the kind of latest news on Atropa. And I think Mindfulness, I think she runs it. So she was sharing the messages of what Maria was saying in the comments. I hadn't actually seen the video. So during basically almost the whole video, Maria's showing this relationship. And I'll get to that part of the conversation here. So in the conversation, Maria was saying somewhere along the way that I was saying 700 would be the lowest. There's no reason to stabilize it. Gosh, I had it. It was up here before. Anyway, have a look on. Hey! Will there be a simple guide for using the Atropa and dysnomia system, or is there something that the community should create? Coexistent Stephen has done some helpful videos. Next step is still to rewrite data feed storage of everything emitted on chain. The client can track price data this way by following along with exchange rates involving stablecoins. Yeah, I don't know. So somewhere in here, by the way, build GPO civilization with us. I want to do a video on this and my speculation on that. So, because I have like a little theory, but again, this is why you should never just follow what a dude on YouTube says, because obviously, yeah, I presented this idea of he's talking about the ratio for 1 to 700. So I made the assumption that it meant when one HotX gets down to 1 to 700 with EHEX. But people were correcting me and saying, no, it's 700 to 4 million. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. Why would it be like this? But I hadn't actually seen this video. So I stand corrected. So yeah, somewhere in here where he's talking about the 700, for some reason, it's not giving me the full scope of the conversation. So yeah, potentially this could have been the bottom, because obviously yesterday would have been when it was around this area would have been the 700 to, if this was made, how many days ago? Streamed December the 23rd. So December, yeah, it would have been around here. So maybe this was the low. Maybe he was basically saying this was the low. So if this was the low and you managed to swap into here, so your EHEX now is up 50% if you swapped into here. So in other words, if you swapped 1 million EHEX into HotX and you swapped HotX back into EHEX plus 50%, you would now have 1.5 million EHEX. So look at the volume. through here. So the volume 840K, that's a lot of volume, man. That's a huge amount of volume in a 24-hour period. And the reason why is probably due to this video. So people, I mean, it's good to see people are basically profiting from the information in this. I personally haven't done a swap, so I'm like, because I was waiting for the 1 to 700, but other people had, which is really good. So, and Zach as well has started to talk about it. So Zach made this post. So Dev Maria has sold the last of their HotX for EHEX. I didn't think, I'm going to clarify this, but I didn't think when I looked yesterday, I didn't think that was the case. But obviously this was 3 hours ago. So maybe Maria has done this. And so he's just added more to his bags. His first entry was around $50. Now he picks them up for $35. So I think first entry was around $50. Does that mean he entered at like $50 of capital into it? I'm not too sure, but yeah, there you go. So this was Zach now talking about it, which is obviously pushing it out into the market as well. So first I want to just clarify if Maria is fully out of it. So if I go to holders, oh yeah, okay, there we go. Let's go 501. Yeah, wow, there you go. So Maria has sold all of it now. There you go. So that would have been the bottom. So now this is all burnt liquidity, 22.11%. And the way that you can keep track of this as well, obviously a lot of this will happen during times where I'm asleep. But this is where Sunny's Pub is really good because, for example, here, Sunny's Pub tracks, I mean, look at the price changes here. So just for instance here, Sunny's Pub will also track what the 501 wallet is doing. So if I scroll through here, like you'll see, here we go. So the 2501, that's Maria's wallet. Pulse received this much from this wallet. You'll also see, like, you know, when Maria does some burned LP. So this is the kind of way that you can follow the movements of Maria by just being in all these different channels, following. Like, it's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be something where it's just like all the answers are given. It's supposed to, the way that I'm understanding it, promote like basically people to do their own research, which is really, really good. So I think EHEX will dump back to that bottom range. Scary, bro. I love Richard and Hex. Also, MEXC delisting Hex and Pulse Chain. EHEX will dump back to the bottom of that range. So what is, let's have a look. So just out of curiosity, you mean down to here, the 0.002 region? Possibly. Lose 50%? Possibly. Let's see. So yeah, so what I wanted to have a look at then is scary times again in our system. Depends which way you look at it, man. If the direction of the chart, if you get sucked into the emotion of the direction of the chart, it can be scary. But if you do the opposite, which is something that Steady Pup and I were talking about the other day, when the price charts are falling, like this is when Warren Buffett is buying. This is where the smart people are buying. So this is where you can go counter to the way that you're feeling. And okay, it's going down, but it's like, okay, great. From one perspective, if you've been taking profits or you have fresh capital, I mean, that's where it's like, wow, this is fantastic. So Merry Christmas to you too, bro. What's going on, Moonbot? Means you bought in when HotX was 50 and now bought more at $35 HotX price. But then shouldn't HotX when was it? When would it have been 50 though? So I mean the price is going up, right? So it's $35, and then when was it 50? He would have bought some here, and then he's bought some down here. Okay, that's what he meant. Okay, there you go. So he's pricing it in the US dollar. So he's talking about it in the US dollar. So yeah, there you go. Maybe that was the low, the forever low. So now what I wanted to have a look at here, the reason why I've got it up in the 4 hour, I wanted to have a look at the relationship here between the volume flow of EHEX, HotX, and PulseX. Pulse Hex. So the 3 hexes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. This is where the biggest volume was on the 23rd of December, the start of the 23rd of December. So I'm going to the start of the 23rd of December here. I mean, you can see it straight away. I can, maybe not necessarily. I mean, this huge dip here, 23rd. Okay, so that's the 23rd. I wonder even, I mean, the 22nd, if we go here to the, let's go to the start of the 22nd, actually. Let's do that. So then I'll use this little this little button here to show like the patterns, the bar chart. So you can see here, this is the bar chart. And so now I'm going to copy and paste this over to here just to basically see what we've got going on. Just make sure that's the right way. Yep, correct. So there, and then where was the start of the 22nd? Okay, so we've got it on the start of the 22nd. So, all right. Okay, interesting. So we can see, then we can see, this is why now this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So look at this. Look at the relationship here, how it's the same relationship that we saw with G baby that the Guat, and BFF that the Loit. So when Maria created G baby and did it as a derivative of BFF that the Loit, when people started buying G baby that the Guat, it pumped BFF that the Loit past the 8K mark. So all the buyers that were going into that pumped up HEX. So now, because of the way that these are related, I mean, this is just me hypothesizing. I still need to work out the math on how much of the percentage of a supply of the total supply of the token in liquidity with another token impacts the movement of that token. So for example, here, I mean, really, obviously HEX is pumping. So whether or not HEX pumping is dragging up HotX, or whether or not HotX pumping from people selling HEX into HotX is dragging HEX up. So if this is actually a result of the HotX pumping, if that makes sense, it's the same as the Atropa Pt I. So you basically see like all the volume flowing into Pt I, but Atropa is also pumping with it, even though there's not a lot of like buys coming into the Atropa, because I'm monitoring what's happening in the Telegram. So for instance, I'll be looking like, I mean, there was a few the other day, but if you have a look here, like DAI, basically like when you see these periods of like shit tons of buys, I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but when it's really pumping, you're seeing all these buys, but then you go into Atropa and Atropa's moving at the same rate, but there's really not a lot of buys coming through. So, I mean, already you can see there's really not a lot of buys coming through, but it's still moving with Pt I, which means people aren't really buying Atropa. They're buying Pt I. That has all the attention, but it's still moving up with it. So now that's how I'm looking at this. Okay, what maybe we're seeing something like that, right? Where basically people are taking, people are taking their HEX, putting it into HotX, and that is moving it up. That's moving it up with HotX now, so as the HotX price goes up. So it's really quite a fascinating relationship now. And one thing, I wish I had the comment here, but basically in here, Maria was talking about now we're going to see, I don't know what benefits to offer the RH atmosphere though. I'm presuming that selling out supply with all he, so but yeah, he's burnt the liquidity, which is fantastic, which means he can never, so that's 22% of the supply that he can never sell into. Another thing that he was saying in here somewhere was this is the first use case now he has for putting the Atropa ecosystem to work with the Richard Hart ecosystem. So now he's building up this HotX ecosystem to help create the parity with HEX. So now he's taking the math and the logic of Atropa and applying it to HEX. So let's see what this is going to do. So then obviously we've seen it. I mean, yeah, this could have just been buys. I have no idea. But the fact that we've had this big movement up with also this big movement up, I think that that's really quite interesting. So obviously here you can see possibly, I mean, here there's like a big wick happening here. And then this is where HEX started to go down as well. So who knows? People who bought the bottom, maybe they ended up like, you know, maybe there was like a fat whale and they don't need big moves. If you have like, you know, if I had 2 million HEX and I swapped into this and it does a 30%, I can just swap back out and I've just made 600,000 HEX. Like as a whale, you don't need, we're the ones that are chasing these 10,000 X's, but these guys don't need the 10,000 X's. We just need like little moves. The big whales just need like, I wish I was a big whale, just need the big moves, right? Now, how does this actually affect the HEX to pulse, the pulse chain hex? So I'll be very curious just to see if it has any kind of difference on this particular chart as well. So, and I've got the ratio. So this is, this is the same HEX priced in the USD. So now we'll price it into the pulse hex to the 4 hour. I mean, really, it just keeps gaining strength, to be honest. Wow. Okay, that's pretty interesting as well. So yeah, again, this is also now affecting. So I mean, yeah, what am I seeing here then? Again, depending on the degrees of buyers, it really depends on the degrees of buyers. So it may be a lot of people are swapping into this, but look at that. I mean, it's the same. I mean, obviously that's EHEX to this is the EHEX price. So, but really now EHEX to HEX, the way that this EHEX has moved against the other hex is really, again, that tells me a bigger story now. That tells me a bigger story. So now if we zoom out, we'll go to the daily. I mean, actually, well, yeah, we'll go to the daily, but really we should be going to the weekly. But where's our one-to-one? Do I have one-to-one? Hey, Sonny. Love you, Sonny. I hope he's watching. Probably not. Merry Christmas, Sonny. Oh, Merry Christmas to everyone that's here. Anyway, so obviously the one-to-one. This is the target everybody wants. This is parity, right? One-to-one. So just based on this little move, okay, of course we've had all this people are looking at this. I mean, I was looking at this going, you know what? I'm going to swap into this. I believe in this. So really, if you got in at the bottom, you've already doubled your EHEX bag. If you got in at the bottom. So in this particular ratio. So if you swapped your PHEX into EHEX and it's moved now almost 200%, or yeah, whatever it is, it's moved like 150 odd percent. So you've done 2.5x on your PHEX. So now if you swap your EHEX back into your PHEX, you've like more than doubled your bag. So anyway, the reason why I wanted to zoom out here is if we start seeing this, if I mean, this is just, it's very new, right? It's very, very new. So we can't really say that what happens here as well. We can't really say that the liquidity bonding is doing exactly that. There could be liquidity flows going into EHEX from outside of this particular system. It could be the fact that they're bonded together so strongly, which is doing that. But it also, and if that is the case, if it is the case to do with the bonding, then that's extremely bullish for the parity narrative, which is something that I'm particularly interested in. So I want to just have a look at this candle. So 19th of December. What happened on the 19th of December? Anything big here? Yeah, not really. I think that was just Maria then selling. I think this was a day where Maria probably sold a lot of his HotX into this particular pool to make it more attractive for people. So as people put their liquidity in this pool, what's actually happening there? So more of the Ethereum hex is going into this liquidity pool, which means more of the Ethereum hex is going to get dragged up with HotX as HotX continues to go up. And so because HotX now will be bonded with all kinds of other tokens, this here is a big clue. This is a big clue for me, where basically down is Maria's profit taking. So down has like an inverse relationship to the rest of the Atropa ecosystem. So in other words, as Atropa is moving up, down is moving down. And then when Atropa hits a top, it starts to flow into down, and then down starts to go up. So there's an inverse relationship. So when Atropa maybe hits some kind of market cycle top, or just like maybe like some kind of pullback, it will flow into down. And so as it flows into down, then maybe Maria's going to start to filter some of that profit into things like this. So I'm just seeing like all these levers that Maria can potentially start to pull. So as Atropa Pt I goes up, he'll take profits into down, and then from down, the profits into down, he'll flow this into this. And this is a way that he can help create the peg from EHEX to PHEX, the parity. So all these other tokens, and hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking with that statement of the GPO civilization. I want to do like more. I want to keep doing more of a deep dive on it. But when he's talking about become GPO civilization, we've been speculating on this in the Atropa chat. And GPO is the Genesis porridge. So that's one of the tokens. Is that one here? No, he hasn't got the bonded here. This one here, which ends up being like Genesis porridge. So I'm thinking. And then he ended up showing like, I don't know, then on his video yesterday, he ended up showing like all the it's like Christmas time, he showed the value of his portfolio, all the liquidity pools. So it's almost like, and then he thanked everybody for the success of the ecosystem. But also I'm thinking, I wonder if there's like he's telling us to like build the GPO civilization. So it's almost like this part of the Atropa ecosystem is built, like Atropa, Legal, Bear, all that stuff's built. Now he's building out like this next branch of the Atropa ecosystem, which is all of these or the OT, whatever you want to call it. So the Korean symbol. So now he's building out this portion of the Atropa ecosystem. And so he was showing all these liquidity pools. And so if you want to be part of that civilization, maybe, just speculation, maybe it's all about creating some kind of liquidity pool, like creating liquidity pools with these tokens and other assets that you might have in your pool. And by adding into liquidity, you're supporting the ecosystem because you're helping like create leverage liquidity that Maria can buy against. So it's almost like, we're really supporting Maria just by providing liquidity. And that's what I've noticed with my Lao token. As I create liquidity pools, I can then buy against it. And then the more liquidity I have, the more that I can buy against it and keep adding into liquidity. So what we're doing, if we want to support the Atropa ecosystem, it's almost like the GPO civilization being part of that could be contributing to all of these tokens. And we're seeing Maria putting a lot of attention on this. Tintop, what's up, Hexicans? So yeah, we do have a hex. Good old jolly hex episode today. So yeah, 22% in burnt liquidity for this particular token. Now I just want to have a look at what about hex. So this is Ethereum hex. So it's the third biggest and sixth biggest liquidity. Bank X. I didn't even know there was a Bank X token. So I can't believe how close it is to Pulse Chain hex. So even to Pulse Chain hex, it's sitting just below. But, so this is 1.7 million liquidity. It's going to outpace it. So 1.6 million here. But as this continues to climb, as people continue to realize, hey, this is actually like potentially a really good buy. I mean, there's a lot of volume that's flowed into it, right? But if people keep swapping into here and the Atropa ecosystem keeps dragging it up, the liquidity here is just going to keep going up, which means eventually this is very close to flipping hex, so it could be second very, very soon. And then it's probably this one here this is the V2 one that's also probably going to flip very, very soon. So now if we look at the holders so this is Ethereum hex, I just want to see. This is the part that I don't quite understand. So now if we have a look at this, there's 7.3 billion hex in circulation, and there is 3 billion in liquidity, which means what's that, like 40%, 40-ish percent. So that's about 40-ish percent, 45% is in liquidity. So half of it is in liquidity. That's really interesting. I didn't think so much of the EHEX was in liquidity. So we got this one here, 213 million. So that would be, it doesn't show the Bank X one. So it's almost like, I don't think this Bank X is like a legitimate, because you can see here, there's only like 0.00175 in there. So that would be the first one here, 200. So that would be with PHEX, and then that would be with the HotX. So that's those first two there. So I'm really quite surprised, but I guess maybe there's so many more liquidity pools, so the liquidity is more like evenly distributed across the board, whereas with HotX, there's only 62 liquidity pools. So obviously the percentage of liquidity in this is a lot bigger. So in other words, the price movement of HotX, because so much of it, I need to fully understand this. So is it because basically a quarter of the HotX supply is with EHEX, the price movement of HotX is going to move more with EHEX than what EHEX is going to move with HotX. But at the same time, it's still the second largest liquidity pool that is with HotX, with the Ethereum hex. So it also means that it's also going to move as much. But because the percentage is so much smaller relative to the rest of the percentages, I just don't know how the math works with that, where how much of the percentage to the rest of the total liquidity makes it move. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. So I need to kind of work the math out. I need to do some research on that. But that's what I was kind of wanting to have a look at today. So nothing too extensive, pretty short. So I'll just go through some of these comments, and I think I'll wrap it up there. So Merry Hexmas and Mad Gains all next year. Definitely, man. Merry Christmas. What's God's country? Zephyr Trips. Where's God's country? I would love to know where God's country is. What's up, Stizzy Jones? Korean hex for the win. Yeah, HotX. So the Korean hex. I was looking at PHEX LP and noticed a couple tokens starting with HTT 7000 is one of them. Ever hear of them? I was looking at PHEX LP and noticed a couple tokens starting with HTT 7000. Oh, no idea. You mean like, all right, let's have a look. I don't know about that. Let's have a look. All right, so now we're going to do... So we'll do it with the... Man, and like, even this video, right? I should be able to share this in the Hex Telegram. Like, how bullish is this for Hex? But I can't. I'm banned from there. Because I mentioned Maria's name. So I got banned. Oh, boy. The closed-mindedness of the world. It's such a pity. It's such a pity. So let's have a look. Let's have a look what this says. So there's probably a lot more Pulse Hex as that comes up. Oh, man. Yeah, my pleasure. You guys are wonderful too. So the fact that I get people coming in here, commenting, it's really fun. It makes it really enjoyable. That's why I've been doing a lot more live streams. It's actually a lot more enjoyable. But obviously, the live streams are a lot more all over the place because I'm interacting with everyone. So it's a skill that I'm trying to master, of maintaining the flow to keep it something where I can build a story in people's mind of the logic without kind of jumping around too much. It didn't seem to work here. Oh, actually, it kind of looking a bit like it's kind of bugged out. Let me just try this again. But thank you. I do appreciate that. Possibly also my internet's getting wrecked. Wow. Yeah, internet's getting wrecked maybe. So what's going on, Daddy Hexler? Live when it's not bedtime. Because Ivy, you're in Australia, right? Because I normally obviously do those at like 9 o'clock. So yeah, these will be rare, these ones. But obviously Christmas Eve, getting ready to go celebrate. When Bank X is out of EHEX. Exactly. And they've really chewed through. Damn, they've really chewed through that wall as well. So I think Daddy Wix covers it really well. Oh, man, I'm getting a lot of lag here. Daddy Wix covers it really well, but I think like a large majority of the supply is already sold out, which is really, really good. So would you think buying a VHEX would drag up HotX due to LP bonding? Yeah, that's what I was... I think yes. So I think both of them will drag it up. This is the beauty of liquidity bonding, but I don't know the degree to which it drags it up. That's what I'm trying to like figure out. So how much of the percentage of the supply in liquidity makes it move? Or is it just being in liquidity that makes it move? So for example, boy, what's going on with the computer? Wow, what's going on here now? Okay, so getting absolutely wrecked by my computer. I need to get myself a new computer for Christmas. So obviously, so this is EHEX, only like 2% of the supply. If that was all the way down here and it was like 0.01% of the supply, then I would suspect that not a lot of the movement of this would drag up HotX. That's what I would suspect, just on a logical point of view. But I don't know the specific math. I need to actually work out what the specific math is of how much of the liquidity in bonded will actually make it move. What's up, Conspiracy Crypto? HotX going to go bananas? Yeah. I mean, I think HotX is going to go bananas as well because Maria's now building out all of this ecosystem around it as well. So I do think it's going to go bananas. And I do think if we see a pullback in the Atropa ecosystem, I would expect things like this to go up because, like I said, as that liquidity flows into down, then that liquidity from down is going to flow into the rest of the Atropa ecosystem. So 700 to yeah, exactly, Malik. That was one of the mistakes that I made. So yeah, you can never. This is why you always have to do your research and never just follow what somebody says. So what happened here? So this is hex from Ethereum. I was doing not that hex. I was doing the other hex. What's going on? What's going on? So that's also hex from Ethereum. So it gave it to me twice. Maybe I clicked the wrong. Yeah, I clicked the wrong one. Damn. All right. So self-rect. I thought I did that for this one. Maybe this one's low. Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. So I might close that one now. So let's have a look what the question was for here because I forgot it now. Here we go. So the HTT. Oh, interesting. HTT 7000. Wow. And HTT 5000. HTT 3000. I have no idea. Boy, and I guess this is where you can start to go down the rabbit hole now. This is where it's kind of fun to do this stuff for me. It's like kind of figuring this stuff out. And yeah, I mean, this is why I kind of like to do it on a live stream as well, because instead of me just kind of doing it by myself, I'm doing it with people, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting for me anyway, and hopefully for you guys as well. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to do it for yourself as well to kind of figure out how to navigate the blockchain. And again, like, yeah, correct my mistakes. You know, I was pretty adamant about the 1 to 700. I was like, what are you guys talking about in the Atropa chat? I was like, please stop saying this. It makes no sense. And then obviously because I hadn't seen the visual that Maria was doing, so I was completely in the wrong. So my apologies to the Atropa chat. So I'm making things more confused when I was trying to make things more clear. So because obviously there's so much stuff to keep track of. Like if there's any bits of misinformation, it just makes it that much harder with the Atropa ecosystem. So let's have a look at what this HTT 7000 and HTT 5000 is, because I have no idea. Doesn't look like there's a lot of liquidity pools, but we'll have a look. Yeah, only 3 liquidity pools. Interesting. Hex time token 7000. Yeah, I got no idea. I got no idea what that is. Do you have any guesses, Mr. Moon? Because I certainly don't. And I mean, this is where, again, like just to really emphasize this point where the liquidity is kind of fake. So this person, whoever did this, HTT 7000, created this token and then maybe had a ton of PHEX and then created this token. And so the liquidity is 300K. So really he would have had like half of that in actual PHEX liquidity, then created a token, bonded them together, and then all of a sudden you've got double the liquidity. So he's turned 150,000 into 300,000 in liquidity. But really, the HTT 7000, no one's ever bought it. I mean, 373 volume. So this is where the game of liquidity is also like, it's a bit of a mirage. So Hex time token 7000. Okay, yeah, that's what I had here. So yes, 779. So I'm not too sure. Moonboot. I don't know. What's your speculations on it? Lots of PHEX in those LP. The contract is intriguing. Got to look more into it. Exactly. Lots of PHEX in there, not small beans. Yeah. So maybe someone's cooking something up because there's only a few liquidity pools. Maybe just out of curiosity, because I saw a Hex TT 5000. Oh, damn it! I saw a HTT 5000, and then I saw a HTT 3000. Yeah, so that's another one. Look at the liquidity in that. So maybe it's all made from the same person. Maybe this is someone cooking something up. Who knows? Hex time token 3000. So whoever it is, it's someone with a lot of PHEX, because basically that's like they would have had, I mean, between those three tokens and 3 pools, there's like, $300,000 to $500,000 in liquidity, so like $500,000 of P-HEX liquidity. But then by creating these token and then bonding it, this token which has no value, and then bonding it, he's created like $1 million of liquidity now all of a sudden. So this person's become like a millionaire on paper. Very interesting when you think about it from that perspective. So closed-minded is always the case with anything that challenges status quo. Yeah, exactly, Ivy. It's very challenging. It's very challenging, especially when you want to share things and help people. Why is Maria making it so hard to search his tokens? Symbols he uses definitely make it harder to search. Some Japanese flexing. Yeah, there's some Japanese ones. So obviously these tokens, they're Korean symbols. Never ever get Korean and Japanese mixed up to Korean. They'll get really insulted because they were obviously under like they were under what is it where they invade your country and basically like, yeah, live like we do. Interesting note. Also would never call they call it kimbap, which is what the Japanese call sushi, and the Koreans actually invented kimbap, and then the Japanese took it and then called it sushi, and now everybody thinks sushi is like a Japanese thing. Same with pizza. The Italians, pizza, I think even pasta, you know, when they go conquer nations, they take their recipes and then, you know, they claim it for themselves, but in actuality, it's not them. So what up, Maddie? But yeah, David, I think it's deliberately like that. I think it's like that, one, so people don't rush into it and just buy it. Two, because he's trying to build like it's a one total system. But if we keep thinking from the perspective of, oh, there's this token that I'm just going to buy into and it's going to go up, it's not necessarily going to be the case. The function of that token within the Atropa ecosystem might not have that function. So it might be a mistake to rush into that. So another one, that is dedication. So I'm not sure what that's in relation to. Maybe the HTT. Dropping some more alpha bombs. Peanut Brain, what's going on, man? In the interviews that came out first, he said he wanted the barrier. Yes, exactly, Ivy. So this is what he did, David. So he wanted the barrier to entry to be high, to maintain the integrity of the system, to keep out the cheats, to keep out the people who are in here to just extract liquidity. So he just doesn't want certain people to hear about it. Exactly. So love your work. Thanks, Mitchell. Have a good Christmas. You too, bro. Could look at Gary Network. I don't know what Gary Network is. Is that a token? I don't know. It's not really that kind of an episode. Yeah, I mean, why would I look at, just out of curiosity, why would you want me to look at Gary Network? Just out of curiosity, is it because you hold it and then if I talk about it, then obviously it gets the eyes out, or what? Is there something interesting about it? Because again, I keep trying to emphasize with this particular channel that it's not about like talking about things to pump people's bags and shield tokens. It's a side consequence that I happen to be talking about the Atropa ecosystem, and it keeps doing so well so that everyone that's listening is profiting from the information, which is really great. That makes me happy. But this channel is like a research channel that I'm trying to investigate this new financial system called the Atropa ecosystem. It's a Web3 streaming platform on Solana and as a governance token. So yeah, not too sure, bro. Good luck to the Gary Network. I don't really know too much about Solana. Yeah, Web3 streaming platform. It's probably something, who knows, if it starts to pop up more, then I'll definitely look into it. But yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm trying to like focus in on particular things. Otherwise, it's too hard as it is to just keep up with everything, man. So I think he meant dissertation. So EHEX to parity soon, daddy. Okay, I think that's it. Any questions? No questions. Otherwise, yeah, no problems. Disclosure. Like I said, one day I might talk about it if it keeps popping up. That's what I'll do. But at the moment, I'm not really in Solana, and it's not like, oh, I'm not in Solana, I'm not holding it, so I don't want to talk about it. I often talk about tokens that I don't own on here. It's really just about exploring these different systems. But yeah, trying to now focus in on this system is already it's already hard enough. So kind of I need to like focus in a little bit. So, but anyway, everyone, I think this might be it. I'm gonna go have some Christmas food with one of my best friends and his family. Spend Christmas there. Have a few cheeky crafties. Maddie, I'll be thinking of you when I have my craft beers. Everybody have a good and safe Christmas. Obviously, it's Christmas Eve here in Australia, so have a good Christmas Eve. Have a good Christmas. I might do a Christmas stream. Not too sure. See how we go. So everybody, Thank you very much. Stay happy, stay healthy, and be positive, and enjoy and be grateful. Don't just be grateful for the presents, because that's meaningless, right? Be grateful for each other. Be grateful for the world. Be grateful to the universe. That's the real gratitude, not gratitude when I get something and this is great. Just constant gratitude is the real. It says it all in all the Bibles and the religious scriptures. It's the way to live. So let's be grateful to each other. Let's be grateful to the world. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.